The Haunted Mansion on Edgycater Hill. A story by MatthewGH Absud 91734. On a dark and stormy day, it was today. On a day much like today, because it was today, Mr. Spinks invited his 9 closest friends to a house party tomorrow. The date of the party was yesterday. All the events you are about to hear are completely true. Humphrey Davis. Ronald the Hamburglar is quite Famp, Sping's best friend, and is known worldwide for his murdering skills and his various cults. Dr. Jizzle Drizzle stole his PhD off the internet, won a spelling bee in 3rd grade, and has never looked back. The Funny Taker, a very serious MMA fighter by day, children's shows clown at night, is very funny and will tell you that at night. Sarah Keller, a sweet but quaint girl, suspected for over 104 murder cases and can be seen wearing blood-stained clothes every Tuesday after she comes home in a black mask from a warehouse down the stream. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, also known by his initials MJ, is an American former professional basketball player and the principal owner of the Charlotte Hornets of the National Basketball Association. He played 15 seasons in the NBA, winning 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls. Wikipedia. Snobby Wilkers, very successful businessman, now retired and stalks neighbors when they're not looking. Is 97, has Alzheimer's and dementia, and is blind and deaf, and should be like. Dougie James is known to be the most trustworthy and sexiest person on the planet. His goal in life is to get you 6 figures. Also, his DMs are open for feet pics. Ooh woo. And finally, Crystal Kitty. What a fucking whore. Humphrey Davis. Snobby drives down the winding road, swerving with every turn, and then the guy outside. He slowly walks his way to the house and stumbles in. As he opens the door, before anyone can say anything to him, he says, "What?" out loud and ponders why he is here. He goes back to his car to go home, but he then realizes that he has a party to go to. He then drives into the front of the mansion and gets out of his car. Everyone screams in panic, and he says, "Who said that?" Oh, says Snobby. "I'm here," he yells. "Welcome, my good wealthy friend Snobby, who's very wealthy and here to sign a check for Spinks for $100K. Before Spinks can hand Snobby the check, he yells, "Where's my girl?" Crystal comes out of the corner, but before she can say anything, they hear a loud gunshot in the distance. They see Cyril with a gun, and there appears to be a blood stain on her shirt. Crystal is about to yell, but Spinks says, "Oh, that's just Cyril's normal Tuesday. Don't mind her. And while you're at it, Snobby, sign the check." Jizzle comes out of the drizzle and says, "Hey, Spinks, did you know that 48% of the population knows cursive?" Spinks looks in awe at Jizzle before snapping out of it and says, "Very cool, Drizzle. Now, Snobby, can you sign the check?" The lights then go out. And when they return where Snobby was barely standing, there is a crimson red stain. You see, when the lights went out, Jizzle got scared and accidentally dropped his Heinz ketchup on the floor. Thankfully, Snobby was okay. Spinks, in relief. So a shot rang out, piercing Snobby's skull in half. Everyone looks back and there's smoke coming from Cyril's gun. You see, she was far on the side of Snobby, and the bullet went through the side of his head, right from the direction she was standing in. Cyril says out loud, "Guys, it could have been anyone. You see, the bullet jumped out of the gun and went through his skull. There's no proof that it was me. I did it." Silence rings around the room. Jizzle Drizzle then says, 90% of gun owners lose their firearm privileges from an accidental fire." Michael Jordan, then at the sight of Snobby's brain splattered over the ground like a watermelon, screams a blood-curdling scream. Someone call the police! He yells. 1 hour later, Sheriff Mr. Hankins shows up. Now you all called about a murder, so where's the goddamn body? Calm down, Sheriff, Ronald says. After all, Cyril ate the body. Everyone in the room points at Cyril. With her full mouth, Cyril says, I have no clue that I did that. A finger and eyeball falls out of her mouth. No. You could just bend the bullet, jumped out the gun again, and shoved the body in my mouth. Happens all the time, Cyril says. Well, I think we got all the evidence we need here. The sheriff then points his gaze towards Cyril and shoots Ronald in the foot. He then lunges at Ronald and strangles him to death, leaving nothing but a corpse of the mascot. And that's for stealing those burgers, the sheriff says, in a petrified voice. Also, I'm staying for dinner, if anyone knows when that is. Spinks says out loud, that's right now. We transition over to the brunch table, where everyone is enjoying their yummy mummy fried casserole with a side of hempshme. Yummy casserole, says Dougie. He then puts on his headphones and listens to his yummy casserole ASMR. Subliminal version. Gone wrong. While eating breakfast, they all start having their own side conversations. Like I was saying, Funny Taker, 80% of the U.S. population uses their left hand to write. Isn't that cool? Says Jizzle. Ha! Exclaims the Funny Taker. Suddenly, Humphrey Davis slams the table and exclaims, it was me all along. That's right, everyone. I was the bullet that jumped out of the gun and shot Snobby. But I shot him, says Cyril. And yeah, Butler Reginald, that was me too. I don't have a butler, says Spinks. And yes, I also cut the phone lines. But we called 911, says Crystal. And finally, yep, I set Snooty on fire. That was me. Who? Says Funny Taker. Well, Humphrey, that was quite the revelation there, but literally none of that happened, so you're free to go, says the sheriff. Humphrey walks with purpose over to the sheriff's seating arrangement, while everyone continues to chow down on their midnight snack. He slams the sheriff's head into the lunch until his face starts to bleed and suffocates him to death. Loud sniffing noises erupt from the kitchen. Wait, do you guys smell? Is that our good old pal Bozo? Our old friend Peachy? Yes, the Funny Taker says. I'm homeless and ready to party. What's going on, y'all? Says Bozo. Everyone yells, Hey, Bozo! While Cyril chokes in the background. Guys, is Cyril okay? Says Michael Jordan. The food! It, says Cyril. Oh, she's fine, says Bozo. Oh my, Bozo Peach, you have such immaculate feet, says Dougie. The crust on your feet looks so delectable. Ooh. Thank you for the compliment, says Bozo. May I have a lick, sire? Says Dougie. Maybe later, says Bozo, in a petrified voice. In his head, Dougie gets angry that the subliminal hasn't finished. So, Bozy, maybe you can take me out of here and show me a good time, says Crystal. I'm destitute, says Bozo. And 100% of studies show that I'm dead, says Jizzle Drizzle. Dougie then stares down Crystal. Oh, you dirty, dirty whore. How dare you think you can be in the presence of my crust? I've just started a big black feet crust and wealth subliminal. And you better get in my way. Slut. Oh, Dougie, what are you going to do about it? Hey, Siri, look up whore killer subliminal, says Dougie. 18 grueling minutes later, Crystal turns to ash and blows away with the wind. Actually, that was just a fan. Ha, says the funny ticker. So, bozo, says Spinks. Your old friend Snobby left me with this one to give to you. So if you could just sign the check, that'd be great. No problem, says Bozo. He's halfway through signing the check when Spinks shoots him straight in the head. No! Why? Says Michael. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't understand. Well, I have a gig to go to, says the funny taker. Wait a minute. Ronald was the one who poisoned Cyril, says Michael. But sadly, no one gave a shit. It's funny you mention the funny taker, says Jizzle Drizzle. 'Cause 98% of the funny taker's gigs got canceled because he couldn't make to the party on time. Like me. What did you say? Says the funny taker. Funny taker pulls out a knife, but sadly no one gives a shit, and he cuts the birthday cake for himself, by himself. The funny taker cries, yet another birthday, alone in the dark. Looks like it's just me and the candles again, says the funny taker, but sadly no one gives a shit. Hello, funny taker. I see you're alone in the dark again, my friend, says Dougie. Yes, just another lonely night, says funny taker. Well, you see, funny, I'm your friend, and don't worry, buddy, I'll always be here for you. No matter when you need me. When you call my name, I'll come through, says Dougie. Hey, Dougie, can I tell you a joke since it's late at night, says funny taker. Sure, says Dougie. What happened to the pigeon who crossed the road? Says the funny taker. What happened to it, funny? What happened to it? Says Dougie. Well, you see, Dougie, what happened to the pigeon was... Wait, you could tell me what happened to the pigeon, or I could set you up on a $100K a day plan for 8 months, giving you free private access to my foot collection, says Dougie. Fun fact, 84% of people are right-handed in the U.S., says Jizzle. Before anyone can say anything, Michael screams! Ah! Says Michael. They dash to Michael and he says, I sprained my ankle, and then trips. Ah! Says Michael, but louder this time. Jizzle on the job, Michael. Don't worry. I got a degree in doctor. You're going to be fine. Jizzle then grabs a fork and stabs it into Michael's leg. He proceeds to push it further and further until he hits bone. Michael screams really loudly, this time quieter, and says, Someone help! Spinks! Dougie! Funny taker! It's funny you mentioned the funny taker, says Jizzle. Trust me, Michael, I'll get this sprain out of your ankle. He then proceeds to bite Michael's neck until he passes out. Fun fact, 90% of human blood tastes like Kool-Aid, says Jizzle. But sadly, no one gives to charity. That's why you should donate to St. Jude's Hospital. Guys, maybe it's just me, but we still haven't found the killer. I think we should look at our suspects, says Spinks. Dougie's feet, 5'8", smells like feet, has been here the whole time, but it's definitely not the killer because they look delectable. Ronald McDonald, 8'9", had one sentence, is dead. And finally, Humphrey Davis, 5'6", innocent, and is not the killer. Well, I don't think that accomplished anything, says Spinks. Wait a minute, I see the footprints, says Dougie. He starts sniffing the ground, following them. Is that Pierre? This man's feet. It's the smell of a killer. He follows the footprints until it leads back in a circle, staring right at Spinks. Spinks! I figured out who the killer is. Oh yeah, buddy? You want to tell me who the killer is, Dougie? Huh? Says Spinks. He brandishes his Glock. Yeah, the killer is Humphrey. It all makes sense now. Whoa! Funny Taker gasps. You son of a bitch! He would never! Humphrey would never! You're the killer! Oh my God, says the Funny Taker. What is it? Says Jizzle. My phone's at 3% battery. Guys, it's not safe up here, says Spinks. The killer could be anywhere. He's all around us, says Jizzle. Maybe I'm the killer, says the Funny Taker. Quick, to the Spinks cave! Blood drips from the ceiling. Jizzle looks up to see hundreds of dead bodies up there. Nice decorations, says Jizzle. Thank you, I made it myself, says Spinks. This place has such a funny atmosphere, says the Taker of Funny. Yo, what's that? Says Jizzle. Oh, that's my torture device. I've hurt countless people on that thing. Cool, says Jizzle. Hey, I don't know if you guys mind or anything, but could you guys just do one quick thing for me? What is it? Says Funny Taker. Just, I know it's a hassle, but could you just tie yourself up with the chains real quick, and then, once again, I know, and then let me strap you up and put this gag in your mouth. Is that too much to ask? Sure thing, says Funny Taker. Once they're all tied up, Spinks begins to torture them to death. He pulls out a red-hot fire poker and shoves it in Jizzle's eye. He does this back and forth for 3 hours, and no more than 5. Jizzle's eye, at this point, is nothing but a burnt hole in his cranium. Then a door can be heard opening. Loud footsteps ring through the torture cave. Then you see him. The killer. Humphrey Davis. It was me all along, Spinks. Spinks takes Funny Taker's gag out and starts whipping him. Ow! 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 Says Funny Taker. Help me, please. Please. Please, Humphrey, help me. Please. That's right, I was the sheriff. I killed Dougie. I sabotaged the escape helicopter. I was the black-crusted feet. I was the one who tied up Funny Taker. And Mr. Spinks. And of course, I was the guy outside. Spinks starts beating Funny's head in with a club. Oh, that's great, says Spinks. Put your hands where I can see them, says the sheriff. Spinks puts his hands up, and then the sheriff puts his cuffs on Humphrey. You're going away for a long time, buddy. Yes, I did it. I did it. But I thought you were dead, says Michael Jordan. No, that was my plan all along, to take permanent brain damage just to catch the killer red-handed. Well, I guess we found the killer, says Jizzle. Shut the fuck up, did I say you could speak? Spinks grabs a knife and then starts slitting Jizzle's throat. Help us, Sheriff, yells Funny. Wait a minute, says the sheriff. What is it, Sheriff? You gonna lock me up for torturing hundreds and hundreds of people? Huh? Is that a limited edition Hot Wheel? Oh yeah, it is. As he shoots Jizzle in the head. That's cool. Thanks for the help anyway, Spinks. No problem, Sheriff. Now get the fuck out of here. All right, I'll be leaving you alone. You kids have fun, little rascals. Thanks. Ah! And after a fun, long night, the sheriff finally arrests the cold-blooded killer, Humphrey Davis.